Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to a brand new episode of With the Side of Chaos. This is Patricio, aka Rocky, and I don't know why I played it on my phone. My apologies for that.
I don't know why you did that. That was not good.
Yeah, and as always, I'm joined by the saltiest of salties.
Hey, buddy.
How you doing, man?
It's just magical to be back in the podcasting world, isn't it?
It is.
It's fantastic.
I'm sorry that I caught COVID and then we had to stop the recording for a little bit.
Oh, that's okay. I don't blame you, but I'm glad you didn't come over for equipment. I didn't want to give it, but here's the thing: I had COVID before you had COVID, so and then we all had COVID. And are we superpowers now? Do we have majestic powers? Can I fly?
I believe With the Side of Chaos has beaten COVID.
Yeah,
we are on top of the variants and everything.
Yeah, you know what? I went to that chicken place that Guy Fieri opened.
I was going to say, like, there's a lot of chicken places.
Yeah, the one that Guy Fieri did, and all his dipping sauces are mayo. Hey, dude. Hey, variety. I get it, but mayo and everything? Come on.
No, hey, I mean, I'm Mexican, but I love me some mayo on everything. I put the mayo on my
thing?
I put mayo on my corn for the elotes.
That's acceptable.
I put a lot of mayo on my ham and cheese sandwiches, my bologna sandwiches. Like, mayo is a condiment for me.
Yeah, me too. But I just don't want it with every piece of chicken that I'm going to consume during the one sitting. It's just too much mayo.
Now, how do you
might as well go to a mayo restaurant.
Now here's an interesting question, and completely off topic. Like, how do you take your chicken? Fried, rotisserie, grilled? Like, how do you...
it's always fried, but mostly grilled, sadly, due to health reasons.
Popeye or KFC?
Probably Church's.
Okay. Those were right there.
I grew up in Chicago, remember?
Fair and valid.
Okay, fair and valid.
But from the chicken, like, who has the best biscuits?
I don't know. I don't eat biscuits.
You don't eat biscuits?
No, I eat biscuits and gravy when I go to a good restaurant. That's when I eat biscuits. I don't overeat biscuits because then the rest of the meal is all just like filler for the biscuits. Because everybody wants to eat the biscuits first, and then you're all buttered biscuits. Then you're like, what about the chicken and waffles I ordered right before the biscuits? And then you're like, wow, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? I ate the biscuits. Now I'm full. Just like every time you go to Olive Garden, they give you free, and then you have to take that shit pasta home. You know what I mean? Like, it's never ending.
No, the
bread.
The never-ending pasta. And who is it that has never-ending shrimp? Is that
I believe that's
Red Lobster?
I don't believe Olive Garden serves that much shrimp that they have. I don't know. You should call Big Tim. He might know.
That's literally what I was thinking about when I went to the Endless Shrimp with Big Tim.
Yeah.
And we were there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
How many shrimps did you eat?
I lost count. I seriously lost count because, like, I think by the 11th plate, I was just like, I need to tap out before I actually die.
How many did you have?
I had probably about maybe 9 different varieties of shrimp.
I know. What was the shrimp count? That's what we all came to hear.
Oh, the shrimp count. I thought
shrimp count.
Well over 60, 70 shrimp.
Jesus, that's like half sushi.
Yeah, but I'm like twice the size of you.
Yeah, dude, I can eat 23 pieces of sushi.
Do you think you can outdo me in a wing off?
No. You'll definitely consume that much chicken. I don't like chicken that much.
Okay.
I eat chicken a lot. It's very grilled, and I've lost the taste of baked grilled chicken, boiled chicken. It's very popular. Very popular.
How's the comedy been treating you?
Oh, I'm bored.
You are?
I'm so bored. I'm asking people to go on road gigs. Hey, I'll pay you $10 to let me drive an hour to go do your room. What do you think?
But you have a gig coming up on the February 2nd, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be at this place that I've never been to called the Salty Shamrock, which is supposed to be pretty cool because my name's Salty Aaron. Isn't that pretty cool?
It's
word association. That's pretty.
It could be like your name is on the marquee.
I know. I can't wait to scare those nice white people because I know it's near New Smyrna Beach, and it's gonna be a lot of nice white people who are gonna be scared by the weird crypto guy screaming at them that the end is nigh. You know what I mean?
You gotta love the nice white people. They're amazing. Speaking of nice white people.
Excellent segue.
I'm so excited to bring in the person that we have on today's show because she was actually one of the very first names. And I say it like that because this person does a lot of stuff behind the scenes that not a lot of people are privy to, but get to embrace the fruits of her labor. Whether it's an performing arts show, an event that's going on, there's just the list is endless. And I'm so happy to be sitting down and not virtually, like She's literally like, I am looking at her right now, and I'm bringing her up on the screen. We have Nicole Dupre. How you doing, Nicole?
I'm doing awesome. Happy to be with you. Happy Friday.
Happy freaking Friday! Cheers to that. We will have
Cheers.
our mugs filled with water.
Mugs filled with water.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you so
Love mine,
much.
by the way. I think this is titled 2020.
Oh my God, yes, because
right?
2020.
This is like the best meme. We all know the dog on fire. This is fine.
Oh, geez, 2020.
Right.
Sucked.
We saw each other was what, 19 when the world, or 18. 2019 looks like a gold bar compared to the last 2 or 3. What are we now in our 3rd year of the pandemic? What is what is time?
Who knows?
Anyway?
Who knows? Time is irrelevant now. I started believing in weird stuff that I was just alone so much. I was like, I have a kid, but the sky looks like it's falling, doesn't it?
Our bird's real.
Our bird's real. They're government conspiracies. Oh man, I loved when I found that.
Oh my God, no! I still can't believe. We
need to get
I don't even see it funny. I'm like, really? You would really profess that birds aren't real?
All right, well,
he also
everything else
grew
is on
up
fire.
on TV, the guy that founded this.
Fair.
So there's a part of me that thinks it's more attention based than faith based.
Okay, attention based and faith based. Like, what do you feel about the people that claim the Earth is flat? Like, do you feel like they're convicted on it, or they're like, hey guys, let's see how far we can push this?
I think that there is probably mental illness. And then also, like, are these people on social media? And if they are, do they say this in real life? I feel like, there's like social media you, and then there's, you actually live next door to Karen, and you know what I mean? Like we all have like 2 versions, right?
Yeah,
so I think some of these conspiracy theories, I think you can break it down in 3 groups. Like 1, strong mental illness. 2, attention grabbing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you get like the 3 that actually do believe it because they've never left their mom's basement.
Right.
Wow, that's a great way of putting it.
So everybody in Chicago, especially after the recession of COVID-19.
I am just putting it
perfect.
Quick.
I can just see myself moving back there in the smoke shambles of the sadness of the basements of Chicago because I can't pay my bills.
Dude, I love my city. I am a diehard Chicago fan till the end of time, but I won't move back. And the reason why I won't move back is because of the rat pandemic that's going on in Chicago.
I heard about the baby that got bit by the rats inside, because nobody are going to restaurants, and so their natural food source, alleyways and sidewalks,
those
have no food.
Oh my Lord.
So they start like finding it because they're scavengers, and that fat nugget baby thigh looks kind of delicious.
From the rat's perspective, that's probably very like, I wonder how that tastes, Gary.
So let me get this straight. The rats that were in New York several years ago that went underground, remember the rat pandemic, the rat pulling the pizza thing down?
Yeah.
They hopped on one of the ships, went through the channel, and now they're they got new real estate. They got tired of Trump.
No,
they're tired of Trump in New York, so they moved to Chicago.
They're Chicago rats, which they're like New York, but they're more violent.
They're like, this pizza has more sauce. Like, where's the cheese?
They're more gangs.
Our
rat gangs of New York and Chicago.
Rat Iraq. Will that work? Rat Iraq? Well, how? Iraq.
There it is.
I think I need to call Spike Lee, see what he can pull out for this joint.
But no, it's funny how you mentioned how they probably migrated from New York to Chicago. I saw this TikTok earlier this week where a bird was on a flight from Europe.
Was there a camera?
What do you mean?
On the bird?
Shut up.
Oh, was it real?
It was a real bird flying in. They couldn't get it out, and they didn't want to delay the flight.
Oh my God, where was this plane coming from? Because I have a story that links to this.
I think it was coming from Great Britain. Okay. I think coming to the United States, and the caption read, "This bird is going to be so confused when it lands, because it's not going to recognize anything, and there's literally an ocean separating it from its home." And I'm like, what if that bird brought us something that we didn't have yet?
Well, so you're talking about birds, okay? Birds. So recently, about I think it was like the second week of December, right? So Bill Gates does this interview, and he says, there's probably not just him, but there's like a panel of people, and this is other articles. Scientists are saying that there are probably pandemics coming that are even worse, right?
Right.
And then he has been talking about bird flu for and he mentioned something. So then, of course, because that's like stuck in my brain now, because I'm like, oh man, a pandemic worse than this one. Then I see Israel. There's a flock of cranes. 10,000 of them just died. Dead birds. Then what happens like 4 days later? The first case of flu and corona, the flurona. No, but this is like real timeline. Nobody listened to Bill before, and look where we are. Now these birds are coming. Like, do not bring, close the skies. Don't bring them here.
Let me ask you a question, and I mean this with absolute seriousness. Are either of you gamers? Do you play video games at home? It's time for you to buy the simulation that I've been playing since I was about 16 years old, called Fallout. Fallout. You need to prepare yourselves to the understanding of how to comfortably wear a gas mask, because if flora is real, I will Alex Jones the shit, and we will be scared.
Well, no. I feel that if we were to enter the zombie apocalypse, we're fine.
It's not. It's not the zombie apocalypse. It's gonna be people breathing on people. What's that?
Flu and apocalypse. That's what that.
The floppa
doesn't go.
Floppa kicks are
Fludemic.
There you go.
One of theirs right there. But no, I'm serious. Like you how you had said, like it sounds and looks like it's getting, or we haven't seen the worst yet. But I would think, like, what could be worse than a zombie apocalypse? What would up the ante of a zombie apocalypse? I'm sorry for saying,
but it's almost like if the news came, but we're almost like living in times where I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
No matter, there's nothing that you could say. You'd be like, oh, werewolves that breathe fire. I'm like, you know what?
It's
only a matter of time.
At least it's not serial killers.
At least it's not birds.
Yeah. Those aren't real.
I'm sorry for doing this again, but I'm gonna say it. I saw a TikTok that was focusing on a news article. Well, not a news article. Something that, and I'm not bashing. I am not bashing in no way, shape, or form. I love the dude to death. Joe Biden eating ice cream. Did you hear?
Oh, Icegate.
Oh my God. I lost it right there.
Well, it's kind of like what's happening with Boris, over in the UK. That he had a Christmas party that apparently a couple people didn't wear a mask, and now everybody's giving him
it's so weird to me, because
resign over a crone. I mean, come on.
Well, Boris needs to resign for more reasons than just that. But that's not on my parliamentary watch this week. But my news story of the week, and it has to align with the thing that you're talking about. Just this week in the States, there was a truck that had infected monkeys, and 3 of them escaped. And all they did was
that is outbreak right there.
And all they did was shoot the monkeys. Not try to catch them in the forest. They just shot them. That means 90s. I was like, you don't know how long those monkeys were hanging out with the chipmunks doing weird stuff.
So this is where I really feel that we are in a real version of Jumanji. Like, this is real life.
Well, Revelations, who knows?
You know what I mean? We had murder hornets. You know what I mean?
The murder hornets weren't that bad.
Not here.
Yeah, not here. But
I'm sure there's a lot of cattle in Seattle that would beg to differ.
Cattle in Seattle.
That's my band name.
You're welcome.
That's the name of the episode, Cattle in Seattle. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. I meant that one.
But we're talking about these kinds of things, and these have been real life in 2 years.
Yeah.
Can you believe we're talking about this now after the first time we met?
Well, no, the first time we met, we was it living room or?
So I know I was gonna say my bedroom. No, I had this cool little bungalow over in the Milk District, and I had 2 rooms. One I called my makeup and wig room.
It was amazing.
And so that's kind of where that was my where we did our podcast.
Yeah, and
it had, costumes on the walls. We had all these fun chairs and stuff. So.
And at that time, we were talking about what you were doing at that time, and at that specific moment, I feel that you were the founder or I think you'd already founded the Opera del Sol at that time, and you were just you were starting out. The stories that you told us, the photos that you were sharing with us prior to us recording that episode, I'm like, you're everywhere, and even your house itself was just art to the 10th power. It was beautiful. You had so much culture just wrapped up in your little bungalow, and since then, since the interview back in 2019, we're in 2022 right now. You have grown and done so much. Like I love it when you pop up on my stories on Facebook, because like, what is Nicole doing today? You know, one photo I see you hanging out with Coolio, and then I see another one freaking you're hanging out with Bill O'Reilly. I'm like, holy crap, this girl is everywhere.
I have to ask, how was it to be around Bill O'Reilly? What was it just like? It described, because I can't imagine what it's like to be around somebody like that right now.
Well, to be honest, I have never gotten so much hate mail.
Really?
So many mean, nasty messages on Instagram.
Did you send them, Pat?
No.
Well, no. I think the funniest. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no. You're fine. I was just I'm going to say something after you finish that.
Well, I was going to kind of set this up a little bit. So I am a professional makeup artist and image consultant. So, and then I work a lot in the performing arts, as I do wigs and costuming. And over the years, I have, had this incredible, unique career where people like to hire me, whether it's makeup, whether it's costuming, whether it's image consulting, producing, any of those kinds of, anything that has to do with image behind the scenes is kind of my genre. And it has led me down this incredible path. And I have got to work with a ton of politicians.
Right.
I work a lot in TV. And one of my clients that hires me a lot is the Amway Center. And first they hired me for the Andre Bocelli tour,
which
concert.
Was beautiful.
Thank you. Which COVID relating, a cool thing is the Bocelli tour, I think, is hiring me for the rest of their tour dates. Fingers crossed. Job.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That will be Atlanta, Charlotte, Phoenix, Las Vegas.
And he puts on a hell of a show.
This was my third time working with him.
Really?
My fifth show with him, because I worked in Miami and Orlando, 2 other tours, but this was the third tour. And this was kind of, when the pandemic happened in March of 2020, I am a gig worker, so I sign contracts sometimes year and a half ahead of time to make sure that I have that on my calendar, because sometimes if I have to build wigs or hire a team or things like that. And so that first 5 days to 7 days of COVID, I lost first 5 months of work, then 7 months of work, 10 months of work in less than a week.
That's insane.
All of my work. And that was crazy. So for Amway to start calling me back for makeup gigs, I'm going to say yes to everything, right?
Absolutely.
And so first was like Andre Bocelli. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to do that. Then they call me 3 days later and like, hey, are you working Saturday or Sunday, whatever it was? And I'm like, no, whatever you need, I got you. He's like, well, get Donald Trump. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, Donald Trump and Bill O'Reilly. And I was like, oh, you're like, no, right? And he was like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? And I just said, at first I said, okay. Because first of all, let's be honest. First of all, I am a makeup artist, and I can't really, if I'm going to work for a venue and I choose to take on that kind of client, right? That's the venue, and you say yes to everybody, because what's going to happen? This is, especially after pandemic, if I say no, then they're going to call the next person on the list.
Yeah.
Do you think that I'm going to still be number one on that list?
No.
I've gotten where I've gotten because I'm a yes girl.
Exactly.
I'm a yes girl.
And in your industry, and just in industry in general, you have to be a yes person. If you want to get ahead, you have to take, whether it's the smallest gig, the farthest gig, the crappiest gig, at least you're getting your name out there. At least you're getting the recognition. And you had said that you got some slack for that, because, and I want to add on top of that, because I did too. I got a ticket to that event, and it was funny because when the person that got me the ticket was telling me that they're the prices are going down because they weren't selling enough, because those tickets were pretty high for that event. And if you don't know what we're talking about the American History Tour with Donald Trump and Bill O'Reilly, which I gotta say, it was a fun experience as a spectator. I'm not talking.
That's what I'm saying. Is I think a lot of people don't realize, like, we can separate ourselves from the situation, but then it's also, well, everybody likes a train wreck.
Oh yeah.
Are you not interested in just kind of just to see?
It's like
he's still a president.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. History tour. It's history.
Yeah,
so the fact that you got a ticket, like, almost in some ways, why wouldn't you? Wouldn't you, but you know what I mean? Like, why would somebody?
I imagine it as an outsider. Obviously, I'm a comic. I can go the extra mile and comment on the what you want to feel inside. And I would be like, you having the ticket would feel a lot like me having the same ticket that Abraham Lincoln was in the night Wilkes Booth shot him. That's what I can imagine what that would feel like as a person, because you have your own convictions as a person.
Service has my info. Be careful how you go.
Oh, okay. I thought Abraham Lincoln was okay. I didn't think woke culture.
I posted photos, and it was funny because I saw who was who that day. I had posted photos of myself outside the Amway, posted video of President Trump, talking. And it was a fun experience that day because I saw how the general public, the supporters, reacted to certain things that he would say during that event. And of course, I posted it, and then I got the smiley faces, the thumbs up, and then the angry faces, and so much heat after that. Like, and just like you said,
the angry faces, like, that's like the passive aggressive, like, middle finger.
Exactly. It's like you can't look. If you had the opportunity to go see a president, even if it's a president you didn't like, you could at least say, "Hey, I saw Donald Trump. I saw so and so. I saw this person," and you
saw the 45th president of the United States.
Exactly. And for you, believe me, we're not talking direct politics. Right. We're not diving into that elephant, but you're a cool person.
Thank you. Well, we can go a little bit into it. I think what really caught me is that people don't realize this was the 4th president that I have got to meet. Nice. So there are not many people in their lifetime that get to meet one, and this was the 4th one.
Nice.
About 7 years ago, when Charlie Crist was running for governor as a Democrat, like, it was like, remember, he was the governor and then he changed parties and everything. I was very fortunate. This was kind of the beginning of my career. I'm a yes girl, right? I did a commercial for somebody, then that cameraman then did another project and then brought me on, and it was like, hey, we are making these videos for Charlie Crist. Would you like to sign on? Because men don't like makeup artists, they like image consultants. Would you like to come on? And I'm like, hell yeah. And so that began this 7-year career that I've had in Florida Democratic politics. Right. And so I have worked on 3 different governor campaigns. Nice. I worked on Nikki Fried's campaign, marched with Bernie Sanders. I have a selfie with me and Bill Clinton. This position has allowed me to, run with these groups.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, that were sending these comments don't realize that I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I have worked on presidential campaigns. I have, my profile picture for 2 years was me and Joe Biden. Like, it's so, of course, like, one, I knew that when they called me, I would get cleared by the Secret Service. And honestly, let's be real. Like, I was asked to do makeup for a president of the United States.
And you can't say no to that.
Right. And I didn't end up really, like, I got to meet him, and what's the coolest thing, and I do have it on my bulletin board, is my paycheck in memo does say makeup artist for Donald Trump.
Wow.
And I don't care. This isn't about politics.
No.
So
crowning achievement, more or less.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, it was once I got over it, I'm like, you know what? This isn't about politics for me. This is a job.
Mhm.
So let's take this and just for what it is. And honestly, it was one of the coolest days of my whole life. So I basically was not like assigned a Secret Service, but like this man was with me the entire time, you know, and since he was Donald Trump's Secret Serviceman, he was with me. This man worked for Ronald Reagan.
Holy shit.
He was Ronald Reagan's Secret Service guy. Like, he was there. He wasn't there the night he got shot, but he was his Secret Service for 6 years.
Wow.
And now he's Miranda Lambert's, one of Miranda Lambert's personal bodyguards.
Holy crap.
This guy was so amazing. And then I have to admit, like, so since the pandemic, I am now in my 3rd week of college. I never actually, you know, I've been.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Woo woo.
We'll cheers to that one.
Thank you. I graduated high school 20 years ago, but I'm very for this career. I mean, I've had these last 15 years, you know, it wasn't until recently, and I am a political science pre-law major.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. I did not know that.
And so when I got this, that's where I put kind of on my like student cap. I was like, let me see what's going on back here. Like, I just want to be in it. I want to be in it. And like mark this under things I never ever in my life thought that would happen. So they had a big crew lunch, like it's in the arena, and so all the crew, great spread, all this food, and there were about 7 big round tables, you know. So, and I say crew, so that's your lighting guy, your teleprompter guy, stage manager, you know, sound lights. I'm trying to think, sound lights, stage, you know, that security,
right.
Like that type guy. And so I get my plate and I sit down at a table by myself. Well, then here walks in Bill O'Reilly, who, first of all, is 6'6".
He's a tall mother flower.
What? I didn't know that.
6'6" and super thin. When he walked in, I almost didn't recognize him.
He's Chewbacca height at Disney.
Yeah.
He's Billy Corgan height, and that's scary too.
Like
6'7" or something. So
he like sits down with me at the table. I mean, we had our like introduction when I was like, oh, I'm just setting up my stuff, you know, I'll be here, blah, blah, type of thing. But then he sits down with his like cue cards and his lunch, and he sits there. Then comes over Donald Trump's like chief advisor or political manager, whatever you call him. This handsome, you guys, those guys are really handsome. But probably about like 33, you know, like clean cut, nice black square glasses. Like if you pass him on the street, you'd probably take a double take. But, you know, and so he's like sitting down and we're like, then we start like talking. He's asking me questions and I do this. Then who walks in? Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump Jr. walks in. I was like, oh, hey, Bill. Hey, mind if I have a seat? So then it's me. To my left is Donald Trump Jr. Across of me is Bill O'Reilly. And then to the right of me is Trump's like advisor. And then they're like talking like,
I just want to have my salad in peace, guys.
But it was so cool. They're like, you know, oh, the event last night, you know, no, you know, barely anybody's covering it. And I subscribe to a newsletter that's called Above the Fold, which is all the front pages of all the Florida newspapers.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Great
existed.
newsletter or newsletter comes in every day, because then you get all the top, you know, stories from all the newspapers in Florida. Right. And they were like trying to Google, and I was like, oh, let me pull it up, you know, the West Palm, blah, 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 you know?
Right.
And then they just are having this like whole conversation and like, you know, and like including me. And I'm like, what is happening? What? Like, I thought this would be a cool thing, but I never thought it'd be like, you know, hey, you know, Junior, you know, if anybody out there creates, this is Bill, like anything, you know, creates a ruckus or, you know, I'm going to have him kicked out. And Donald Jr.'s like, oh, but those are my people, you know? And like literally something, he was like, I was like, this is crazy. Like, not like crazy, because it wasn't like a, you know,
no.
It wasn't your usual
dumpster
talk, but it was like this behind the scenes from somebody who wants to go. My thing is political strategy.
Okay.
That's what I want. I want to be a part of the management team and figure out strategies, because I think when it comes to politics, it's about the community. Right. It's not about the party. It's about the community. And I am very against this red versus blue, because the blue that might work for your neighborhood might not work for the blue in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, fair.
And so it's all about strategy. technology and statistics and what can we do and that. And so it was very interesting to see and to just hear things, you know, on that type of.
No. It's wild because, like you said, like it's the opportunities that come from you just taking that little gig. You know, 7 years ago you were doing hair, makeup, wherever, and now you're with Secret Service. You know, taking care of the 45th president. It's
and Bill O'Reilly.
And Bill O'Reilly.
And Bill O'Reilly. Don't forget that. No, seriously. It's a huge pedigree. I mean, honestly, if you look at like, I think my highest marks in the Orlando status is 1. You know what I mean? But there is none that can say, I have worked with 4 U.S. presidents. Yeah. You have worked with that. I mean, there is none.
Obama remembered my name. That's the only highlight that I have.
I met Larry King once before he was feeble, so that was pretty cool.
I got to see him too. I got a picture with him once.
But when we first met,
like him. He was my favorite.
we talked about the arts because here's the thing. People post all the time, whether it's, you know, a nice sunset. I just went to the Van Gogh experience. I did this. I did that. The arts that you work on, I feel that's when we were talking about it. This is the first time. It was like you were trying to revive it or revamp it in a sense. And sorry, yeah, something in my throat.
Yes, you were trying to revive, and then he was getting his voice back to operation, and then he was okay. All right.
So
no hanger, Sarge.
Bringing a spotlight to the arts, which is what you do. And the projects that you're working on, like I looked at your website today, Dupre.today, and there are things that I didn't even know, 1, were coming into town, or 2, that you were a part of. And what is it today, right now, in this day and age? Do you feel that society, and I think I asked you this question the first time, do you feel that society doesn't have an appreciation for the arts, or it's a different approach to it?
I think it's both, a little bit of both, to be honest with you. It's when it comes to art and classic art forms, you know, we're talking things that might be in famous museums or the famous musical pieces that date back to the 1700s, 1800s, right? That type of music tends to only be available at high ticket prices. You know, people who can afford piano lessons and music lessons. So it tends to be a type of music and a genre that has only been accessible to people of, you know, rich old people, rich white people, you know, and honestly, it's a European art form. And this is very common throughout much of Europe and the United States. And so what I wanted to do is to realize that kind of like, if you're not as into classical music, it's kind of like what Hamilton has done, but to the Revolutionary War, right? You know, we hear about it when we grow up, and we're like, oh, well, down more. They threw the tea and the water, and we got rid of the king, right? Like, you don't really get it, right? But what did Hamilton do? It struck on those emotions, right? That courage, that strength, that partnership, that brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
That story of overcoming. And I think that that's kind of what I wanted to do with the classic arts, because I wanted it to, what opera was when it was created was the soundtrack to social issues.
Right.
You know, a lot of times, you know, Mozart can be compared to kind of almost being like the Justin Bieber of his day. Okay. He became famous when he was really young. He's playing for kings, queens, dukes, all around the world when he's 13 years old, making all this money. So what happens to him? He becomes arrogant and cocky. He spends his money on things he shouldn't, right? And then in his 20s, he almost ruins his career, has to come back, right? And then ends up drinking himself to death by 35.
Wow.
But he was the rock star of his time.
Absolutely.
These stories are about sex, love, passion, betrayal, oppression, murder, right? Slavery, things that are, caste systems. And I think that what I wanted to do, especially when you look at the last 10 years of what are not just our community, not just our country, but what the world has looked like. And I think that there is just such a niche that you can take these art forms and tell them in a new way to create appreciation, because Orlando's not New York City. No. We don't have the Met. We don't have these big, expensive, famous theaters that you don't have to market to, because you know that you're going to have 100,000 tourists come in the next 4 months because it's been here for 100 years.
And that's the one issue that I see with Florida, and this is like what I try to do with Chaos, because we always try to put the spotlight on everything else, because there's more to Orlando than just a mouse. And it's never been a jab at him in any way, shape, or form. But there's so much culture, creativity, and diversity that gets overlooked because of theme parks. And when I have friends or family, visit from out of town, the first thing they want to do, oh, can you get us tickets to Disney? We want to do this. We want to do that. I'm like, bro, there is, you know what? Let me take you to the comedy scene down here in Orlando. Get your mind off of stuff for a little bit. You know what? There's the food spots here in Orlando as well.
Yeah, I just found them. Thank you. He just took me to lunch one afternoon recently, and I was like, what is this? Where are we going? And I was like, well, this is amazing now.
Yeah, because a lot of times, people overlook the mom and pop shops because of the big corporations. We could have gone to, an Outback Steakhouse. We could have gone to a Red Lobster.
You could have had endless shrimp.
I took them to this place called Lechonera on Curry Ford, which is a Puerto Rican restaurant that kind of had like a buffet style, but like they serve it to you kind of thing.
Sneeze guy.
Yeah, Sneeze guard.
How long has it been there? 2 or 3 years?
Probably.
I think I went to the ribbon cutting during Mayor Dyer's re-election campaign. I've actually eaten there.
I know, and it's a great place because you get, honest to God, like the best Puerto Rican style food that you can get, this side of Florida. And
I'll have to take your word for it. I've never had much Puerto Rican food other than what we had that day, and I liked it. It was
as long as they have hot sauce, because Puerto Rican food, they don't like spice.
They don't.
No, it was very acidic. It had a lot of.
Oh no, I feel you. And no, if you want some hot sauce, I would recommend Taqueria Americana on Orange Avenue, which is a little mom and pop taco shop. That honestly, like my fiance loves spicy food. And she is always asking, like, let me get your hottest sauce. I can't even smell it because
I'm with her. Next time you better invite me.
I'll definitely do a
hot sauce episode.
Oh my, no, we're not doing that.
We have both been victims of Scoville beyond human measures.
But no, it's beautiful because, like you said, it's an appreciation for the arts. And I don't want to use the term dying arts because
it's okay. You can, if you think about it, because in our country, America, the average concert goer for, say, a Philharmonic in most cities ranges from 73 to 78 years old.
That's sad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad, but dying.
Yeah.
I knew when I left the other opera company before I started mine, it was because they had asked me if I would set up an event for, and I forget, you might know the exact word, but for basically old people to talk to them about how they could put their final donation into their will.
Oh wow.
Oh my Lord.
And I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And but that's a thing. That is a giant thing, and it's been a thing for 200 years. But to me, what I'm with you, and it's we are more than the house for the mouse, right?
Right.
And what Disney has done is, see, this is why it happens. It's because they have the money. Marketing dollars will flood your TVs, will flood all of your buses and your benches and your magazines and everything, and make you think that, this Central Florida from Jacksonville to Fort Lauderdale is nothing but Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also make people who perform at the parks sign NDAs. So when you love Belle's voice at the Gustan's Tavern or whatever it is, you can't say, hey, I'm also the lead in Sanford at the next theater show, right? But people don't realize everybody that works in those amusement parks, that's not what they, 90% of them,
not what they aspire for.
That's not what they feel. So when they are at these local theaters or these pop-up shops, I'm like, you need to go see this.
Yeah.
And I think it's what's, I can't sing. Maybe a karaoke, maybe a back row at a chorus, or you know what I mean? Or after a couple drinks when my ears go, because the more I drink, the louder. The first thing to go is my hearing. If I'm getting louder, it's because I may be drinking.
Hey, I sang Hamilton at Big Daddy's one time.
Oh, there you go.
That was a couple of shots in there, but I didn't.
Hamilton changed my life.
I didn't throw my shot away.
Right. But I am the world's biggest cheerleader. Like, I love Orlando. And I think it's not just Orlando because we live here. It's because, I would say 10 years, but we can go back 13 to 15 years. And let's be honest, it's Mayor Buddy Dyer, the moment that he came here. And what people don't realize that is when you're the mayor, you basically delegate, and it's all about the people you keep around you. And Orlando City Hall is filled with the most incredible people that you have ever met. And I think the last time I heard statistics, I think it's 75% women.
That's awesome.
And they're women from all backgrounds, all nationalities, and they are all people who are genuinely obsessed with the city.
Nice.
And I think that is just, I think that a lot of people don't get that as much. And it starts with people like that when they're working at the core of it, that are the cheerleaders, right? And they make you feel encouraged. People who run the neighborhood department, the people who run, arts and culture, they are your cheerleaders. And they have created this environment that no matter what kind of question you have, you get an answer.
Right.
You want to speak at a town hall meeting? You can speak at a town hall meeting. You want to meet with a city commissioner? You can meet with a city commissioner. They have all kinds of local training and Mayor City Academy, iLeadership. I just took a civilian police academy. If you want to be involved, this city allows you to do it.
Dude, that's freaking beautiful.
A non-for-profit looks pretty nice now, doesn't it? We can go talk to the mayor.
No, in regards to a lot of things get overlooked. Because of the pandemic, I stopped driving for a little bit, and I was riding my bike everywhere. When I lived in Mills, in the Mill District, I would ride my bike from there to here every morning because there were no cars on the road.
Right.
And it was a great workout. The gyms were closed.
And it got you out of the freaking house.
It got me out of the freaking house. I couldn't do it.
I don't know what you speak of. I was out the whole time. Yay!
No. And so I started going on these bike trails all over Central Florida. And how you said, how Buddy Dyer has the right people around him and everything like that. The Parks Department, the trails that are here in Orlando are freaking beautiful. It's a beautiful escape. Let me take them off the screen so there's not an empty one right there.
Well, I mean, it's amazing because people don't realize how many things fall under the umbrella of City Hall and our parks and our roadways and things like that.
I was just on the Urban Trail a few weeks ago, and oh my God.
Right.
It wraps around the museum district of downtown of Orlando, goes to the heart of the Mills area, and you kind of forget that you're on a trail. You're like, oh wow, this is really nice. This is
you come up on that softball field, right? And you're like, I didn't even know this was over here.
Now, the only one that I would say beats it is the Wekiva Trail in Seminole County, because it's a 14-mile trail. And it's well kept, but if you go 5 miles into it, you get to this area where it's about half a mile long of just art, of just these fences, individual fences of artisticness to the beyond. Murals of historical figures, musicians, politicians, anything and everything you can think of. There's someone painted on that fence.
Right.
Going down.
That's amazing.
And it's the escape. And I feel like the arts themselves give us the escape from the reality that we see every day, whether it's the stress of work, the hardship of family, or whatever troubles or our trials and tribulations we're facing. I have an appreciation for the music, for the theater, for how would I say it? Just like plays in general itself. Growing up in Chicago, I was fortunate enough that my mother would take me to the theater district for
Oh,
plays
wow.
and operas and symphonies and all that stuff. And I have an appreciation for classical music. I have an appreciate when Hamilton came out. That one changed me.
Oh,
Well,
it changed my life.
it changed everybody.
Hmm.
It
I'm going to school because of Hamilton.
really.
Mhm.
Speaking of Hamilton, I am hosting Hamilton trivia this Wednesday at Graffiti Junction.
Good to know. Which one?
Thornton
Thornton Park?
Park.
I live on Washington.
Get out of here.
I don't want anybody to know where I live, but I live on Washington near the Milk District.
Ah, there you go. Yeah,
Mhm.
Wednesday, 8 o'clock at Graffiti Junction, Thornton Park. I am hosting Hamilton trivia. Over $100 in prizes.
Oh my God, send it to me. I will send it to everybody.
I might be giving away some Hamilton memorabilia, maybe.
Ooh.
Just throwing that out there. But no,
We're not wrapping up, are we?
no, we're not wrapping
Okay,
up.
I was like, where are we? I was like, is the show up?
No, I appreciate what you do, and I love how you've grown, because when we first met, you were starting off with a segment on TV. You were doing the radio spots, and I was going through your Facebook right before our show today, and I saw like right there, you have the iHeart label, you have the director label, you have all these labels on you, and you're everywhere.
Thank you.
And it's so cool to watch someone who is able to put their love and appreciation for a certain art and just grow from it. Because your segment on the Colbert Show is, I love listening to it because I get to hear about stuff that's coming up into town, places I should check out. And it's not your everyday, how would I say it, touristy thing.
Right.
It's like for the person that chills here in Orlando,
Mhm.
and it's the getaway from everything. Like, how did that relationship come about with the Colbert Show?
Yeah, so the Jim Colbert Show on Real Radio 104.1. I have a segment every Friday at 4:45, and I talk about arts and culture. And that, to be completely honest, I asked for it.
Really?
Nice.
So how this all started is, okay, I think it all kind of started from our mutual friend. So I somehow met Super Dave. I don't remember where. But then I also became friends with Sabrina Ambra from
Okay.
The News
the
Junkie.
News Junkie. And we're talking 8 years ago. And I was producing the Addy Awards, which are the American Advertising Awards here locally. And so like commercials and advertising campaigns, this is like basically their Oscars.
Gotcha.
And so it was right when the Dr. Phillips Center opened. And since I was producing it, I wanted to switch up the way they had done it before. And I wanted to like local celebrities as the host. Usually they'd have like the president, and like when you're not a natural host or something, it can be a little.
Yeah.
So I had Super Dave and Sabrina co-host this show for me. And then it went so great that when the News Junkie were doing their Christmas show, their
Just Okay
holiday party, they wanted a stage manager / producer to help them with it. And I did. And I have to admit, like, I kicked ass.
Was this the same year?
This was the 2 years before Coolio.
Okay.
This is right before, or like right at the time the Jim Colbert Show started.
Gotcha.
Like literally within that quarter. And I was like wearing high heels. I didn't drink. Everybody else was like fits as drunk or high or whatever. And I'm having to wrangle everybody.
They're just
and
okay.
Like, and what the funny thing was is I get there and like we're doing sound checks and like the guys are like smoking and doing like half-ass work. And then all of a sudden I'm like, so what's going on? They're like, and I like had to do this like, no, like I'm the boss.
Like reset. Everyone reset.
This is like, and I like ran that, and I have to admit, like that was one of those. You ever do something I know that we're like conditioned not to be proud of ourselves, right?
Right.
But you ever do something, you're like, dang, I did it. And I had a moment like that. And when Jack Bradshaw, so like since they were new, they did something. They went on stage for something.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I didn't realize, because I was in my zone, my headset, my clipboard, blah, 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 telling everybody where to go. This light, fog machine, hold this person. What's going on? Mic's not working. Like, you know what I mean?
She was Danny McBride again.
Yeah. Where's the drummer? Like, I'm that person, right? And I nail this event, nail it. And just like when Jim Colbert and was leaving, and then Jack Bradshaw, and Jack looked at me and he goes, like, Nicole, like, you killed it. If you ever need anything, kiddo, because he says kiddo a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever need anything, kiddo, just let me know. And I was like, without a heartbeat, don't even know. And I was like, actually,
nice.
This is like around Christmas time, and I was like, actually, I would like the opportunity to come in and talk to you. And he was like, whatever you need, send me an email. And so that was like just a cool time where I just like had all these pre-pandemic, and I think the thing is, I also need an assistant because I don't get a chance to post everything that I do. But this like December was like, I had that. Then a couple days later, or like right after Christmas, I did an opera up in St. Augustine. Then right after Christmas was the inauguration for Florida. So even though I worked on Andrew Gillum's campaign, I did work, who ran against Governor DeSantis. So even though I did all of his campaign, I also work on Nikki Fried's campaign, who ended up running for Commissioner of Agriculture and is only Democrat in office.
I know that because of the gas pumps.
Yes. I know, that was really cool. Like, because her headshot, like, I did makeup on that. Like, every gas pump and
you did the makeup for that?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
It's not on there anymore, but yeah. But I did the inauguration and like was there, like, all doing makeup for her because we had so much press. You know what I mean? Like everybody from CNN, MSNBC, local, whatever.
Wow.
And then I drove the next day from there to have a meeting, and I like sat down with Jack, and then like in comes Jim, and he's like, so at first I was talking to Jack, and I'm like, I have this idea, nobody's really talking about like arts and culture on Real Radio. I'm a huge fan. I've been listening, like, I think they called me like a tier 1 listener. Like, at the time, I've been listening to Real Radio for, at this time now, present day, 18 years, since I was 20 years old. Wow. So at the time, I'm like, I could tell you everything for the last 15 years. And he's like, okay. So I talked to him first, then in comes Jim. And he's like, Jim's like, so what do you want? Like, what's up? And I'm like, and Jack's like, she wants to do a segment about arts and culture. And we were like, well, is it just as long as it's different than what Brendan O'Connor is doing and blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, let's try it out this Friday. Can you come in this Friday?
Wow.
And I'm like, yes. And I came in and I did my thing.
No, that is awesome. You see, just grabbing the opportunity.
Yeah.
The second, you got to remember that next time we talk to Jack. Just remember that.
I believe the start of it was the prompt email.
Yes.
So you need to send Jack an email and make sure we're on after, so we can say naughty words. You know this.
Well, I think that too, with this business and particular with this station, is it's all about conversation, right?
Oh, definitely.
It's not about music. You don't have buffers. You don't have this. It's like, how can you take that? Oh, your co-host is going to cough. Like, what can you do to take over the microphone, right? Yeah. How do you? It's all about creating the flow. And I think that at least for me, I have had such as, we're from Bill Gates to Donald Trump. Like, what? And I literally
you got stories for days.
My next big dream is to have a TV show about my life.
And you will. I believe
it's going to be short episodes, 22 to 28 minutes, depending on the network. So you can have some commercials on there.
There you go.
But
HBO?
like Sex in the City type style. Like that kind of narrate, but bum, bum, bum.
Mm-hmm.
Backstage, I have worked on 45 different shows, worked with 4 presidents. I mean, like, I got stories.
She got some stories, bro.
I'll make up on a tiger once.
Huh?
Wait, what?
Tiger?
Yeah. Oh, you've never seen those pictures?
No.
I have pictures too. So a local attorney in town a couple years ago was making some commercials and wanted a white tiger in his video.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and I was actually working for the video production company at the time. I doing everything like when you're in this business, like sometimes you have to do a teleprompter, or you do makeup, or you hold the light. Like when you're a small crew, like that's what you do.
Yeah.
And so on that shoot, I think I was just like assistant producer. I think I got breakfast that day, whatever. But they're like, oh, just bring your makeup kit just in case he wants it, because like guys are kind of, again, they don't want, I don't need makeup. Like 90% of the time. If
I would tell you, hey, can you make my bags under my eyes disappear for the first time in 20 years?
I mean, if anybody in politics has not shown you Donald Trump, like that man is orange, like he's not the same. And now if you ever look at Joe Biden's makeup like that, they have a lot of makeup on.
Oh no, definitely.
And so I brought it, and then at the last minute, he was like, yeah, like you said, I need under my bags. And he was an attorney, he had kind of long hair at the time. And he was like, oh, my hair. And like that day, I was like, I wore a leopard print skirt. Like I never forget. The pictures are so cool. I have a leopard printed skirt, and I'm wearing like high heels. And then the tiger comes, and he's white. But like somehow in transit, he got like a little like cut on his face.
Oh no!
Like whatever. And the trainer is like holding his chain. He's like, well, and he's a deep Southern accent. He's like, well, if you want to put a little rouge to cover that, like whatever you need to do. And I'm like, and then we had a professional. We had a professional photographer on set, and I'm like, even if it's just in my head, even if it's just for the photos.
Yeah.
Like whatever. So I literally I had white powder, put it on there. And like
that's insane.
And I had this cool photo of me putting makeup on a white tiger.
Wow. Lord. Nicole Dupre, I swear to you, I swear, I'm saying it right here, right now. I'm going to nominate you for Best Local Big Shot for Orlando Weekly because of the stories that you have and have not shared with us, from the experiences, from the impact that you have on the art scene itself. What happened?
Check.
Check.
Now.
Okay. No, just like the impact that you have on the art scene itself here in Orlando and throughout Central Florida, and all the crazy stuff that you've done. Seriously, like, no, you deserve that title of Best Local Big Shot because you're making moves. And from what I've seen over the past few years, from the first time I met you, I think it was either you reached out to me through it was through Facebook, and we started that conversation. And I see you pop up on my stories all the time, and you're always doing something cool, whether it's theater or music or just living your life. I think you saved a squirrel at one point.
I did. I saved a squirrel this year, guys. It was one of the coolest things ever. I loved him, and I named him Chad.
Chad.
He lives in my backyard now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Little Chad.
He likes Oreos.
That's a great story.
You're an all-around amazing person, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for you taking time out of your schedule because you're everywhere.
Thank you.
And thank you for bracing us with your presence. I'm going to give you the mic for one last time for your final thoughts or anything that you want to plug.
Well, thank you guys for reaching out and continuing your podcast. I think we are in a time of pivot, and it's about, grabbing on to those things that we're good at and the things that we love, and that never leads us astray,
Absolutely.
And so I love this community. I love the radio and the podcast community. So thank you for keeping this art form alive. And I think we all have a niche to be in and to develop. And I think you got it. So thank you so much.
I have one final question, actually.
Sure.
So if someone who's seen the city a certain way for as long as he's lived here, and the arts were, I don't want to say calling his name, but where would I first look? If I was to get on a local level, I should say.
Local level. I think what's happening right now is really cool. Something that a lot of cities are not doing that we are doing. There is a billboard campaign that a group of local artists, and there are, I think, 27 different billboards around Orlando that are local artists' art that are on actual billboards. So I think at least 27 or 37 different billboards around town. So just look up, I think, is one. I think that the Museum of Art, the Orlando Museum of Art, should really could really use your love right now. I think that it's really cool that they have an exhibit right now of Renaissance paintings that are, some are 300, 400, 500 years old, including a Rembrandt. And I think this is the first time that Orlando has gotten such an original and famous piece of art.
Wow.
And you'll have to tell me the address of this.
Yeah, it's right over in the museum district. That's on Princeton and Mills. Got it. I think that the Orlando Ballet Harriet Center is another thing that I think in the next couple of years that we will see people using that as a venue. I think that if you get a chance to go see one of the ballets, they have a new artistic director, so they're doing some cool, funky stuff, and their venue is right on the water. There's another little hidden gem over there.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Those are two great places to go. And last week, 2 weeks ago, the Dr. Phillips Center opened up a new theater called the Steinmetz Hall. Oh. The sound in there, as of today, in the next couple weeks or months, because there's other theaters that are not open, but we have one of the most state-of-the-art theaters in America.
Really?
So the sound system in there there's a rating, but it's the same rating as Carnegie Hall and the Sydney Opera House.
Holy shit.
Okay, so when I tell you
in Orlando,
when I tell you that I found the stage that I'm going to shoot my 30-minute Netflix special on, she just told it to me, or it's going to be Grumpy's. It'll probably be Grumpy's, but I'm going to pretend it's that one. Sounds good.
It's a real genuine opera house. It's meant for acoustic. It has a stage that can actually move. The seats can flip under, flip up, so you can put cocktail tables.
Ooh,
I think the Dr. Phillips Center, if you've not had a chance to really see something there, go and appreciate this, appreciate it for its architecture.
Right.
When you walk in there, look at how seamless those walls are. Look at how the light is amazing. And when you're in those theaters, listen to the sound. I think that's, to me, it's about highlighting the soundtrack to our community, whether that is music, whether that is podcasting, whether that is comedy. It's all about, I think art helps you create an identity. And I think that's what I want to be. I want to be the cheerleader and help to highlight the soundtrack to our community.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much, Nicole.
Thank you very much.
Aaron, your final thoughts as we're wrapping up.
So as you can tell, things have been in a dramatic shift for our podcast community lately. So changing perspectives and being more open to things. That's why I'm very happy that you're here. I'm a very close-minded person, but I also found, I'll follow this up. I'm interested in the arts because of what I've learned from film. And one of the things that I was interested is Suspiria. Have you seen that film? Where there's a lot of ballet influences, a Dario Argento film, I think. Anyways, that's what got me into watching more ballet on the YouTube and stuff like that, I suppose. So I've been prepping by actually watching ballets over the last few days, and we didn't talk much about ballet specifically, so I feel like my research was undeveloped.
Well, are we wrapping up?
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. I was gonna say,
final thoughts are final thoughts.
Well, so. Final thoughts is I love that because and next weekend or the weekend after the 12th, the 11th or the 12th, the Orlando Ballet is presenting Giselle. The Orlando, and I think it's in the Steinmetz Theater. It might be in the Disney Theater. I think that what's really great, and this would be the time to go see ballet, is because we have a brand new artistic director. The last artistic director was there for 11 years.
Wow.
So this guy that's in there is supposed to be somebody who really thinks outside the box. And what I love that you are appreciating ballet is because it's usually dancing to some sort of orchestral piece, right?
Right.
And what I love about orchestra music, and I always talk about big bands and orchestras, because if you are really into it, listen to how every instrument literally paints paints the movement.
Right.
You know, the little piccolo will be like their little toes across this, or you hear something and it's just allow the music to again paint that picture, right? It's about that soundtrack of what that art form is. And that's why I love ballet. And when you can experience that the Orlando Ballet, when they do it with a live orchestra or orchestral piece, and you know that it was written, and that always blows my mind when it comes to those composers, because you have a 17-piece orchestra, sometimes bigger, each one playing a variety of instruments, but it tells a story.
Yeah.
And the way that their brain must work, like always, like to hear sound, to see sound is basically what they're doing. And I think that it's just so beautiful, and it should be highlighted in every community, because it could be an avenue again to help create a unique identity.
Absolutely.
You're amazing, Nicole. I swear. I swear. As we're wrapping up, once again, I got to say thank you to Nicole for coming out to the show and indulging us with all the crazy stuff and all the amazing things that she's been doing here in the community and outside of Florida as well. And on top of that, I got to give a quick shout out to Aaron to coming in at the last second with equipment, because of the stuff that happened with our board earlier this week, that we're going to figure it out, but we'll be back at full throttle pretty soon.
And I'll be making a song this weekend.
Awesome.
Tomorrow morning, probably.
Yeah, we got some changes coming up. We are taking next week off because it is my fiance's birthday, and we are going to Cirque du Soleil.
Nice. Is it the Drawn
to Life?
Nice.
And I'm freaking excited because I've never been, and I know it's going to be amazing because the reviews are out of this world. Check me out Wednesday, February 2nd. I will be at Graffiti Junction in Thornton Park hosting Hamilton Trivia, and it's all about the musical. Nothing outside of the realm. Maybe a little sprinkle here or there, but a good chunk of the questions will have to do with the musical itself, the phenomenal musical that is Hamilton. Aaron, where can people check you out this week?
On February 2nd, I'm going to be strutting my stuff like a magician, because we have a magician on our bill. We have a comedy magician. I can't talk today. Oh my God. That's going to be at the Salty Shamrock in Apollo Beach, and I'm going to say a lot of weird things. So I want you guys to come see me and pay me monies.
Yeah, so if you're in the Apollo Beach area, go check out Aaron. If you're here in downtown Orlando and want to win some prizes, I give away drinks during the show.
I recommend you going to Pat's thing. Mine's going to be just a lot of white people. So, you know.
But as always, if you're not laughing, you're not living. Live every day to the fullest, but always do it
with a side of chaos. I don't know why I'm so humdrum today. It's like, wow, bye,
It's
everybody.
Friday. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye. No, we won't.